Gotta add, you guys can go ahead, I'm gonna mess with this for a little bit, if I can't make it work, then
Then it won't work.
it won't work.
Well, I put on share screen, so
So that's great, but my computer's doing.
Our computer's on issue.
you can't, you just have to get on Zoom.
You ready?
I'm ready.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the November 14th Verona Borough Council Business Meeting. But would like everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Prevention, present, Mr. Flota,
Here.
Mayor Recupero,
Here.
Mr. Alexander,
Here.
President Fletchovich,
Here.
Ms. Showalter,
Present.
sorry, I used one, I apologize.
Exactly.
Dr. Carpenter,
Present.
Mr. Pitch.
Here.
Mr. Craig
Here.
and Mr. Long.
Any emergency additional items? None?
Yeah, I have one for handicap parking. I forgot my paperwork and I forgot to put it on the agenda.
Okay. We'll hear, we have no registered comments from the public. So we'll go to comments from the public. At this time, council will hear comments on public related items. Please approach a podium or raise your virtual hand. Clearly state your name and address. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. That might need turned on.
Please make sure you put your name and address on that sheet.
Okay, my name is Perry Caracazzanis, and I live on 525.
I think we need the mic on.
Yeah, the mic's, he just needs it to be turned on. Yeah.
Thanks, Vince.
Okay, my name is Perry Caracazzanis, and I live on 525 East Railroad Avenue for 50 years. And I never see my block, 500 blocks so bad. So I have some questions about it. Last May, I stopped right here and asked the house next to mine, when you guys gonna take it down? And they told me it's on the second list. In other words, it's gonna be the house we have on West Railroad Avenue, which is you own it. And after there'll be the house on 523rd East Railroad. And the other day I stopped right here and your manager told me it's not gonna be on second in a row. It will be on the fourth. And I wonder how you guys make a decision, which is gonna be first, and who's gonna be the second and third and fourth. I guess depends on who you know. Because the house on the West Railroad Avenue, it was damaged by fire after we have the problem on East Railroad Avenue. That's the first. And who's making the decision? Can you tell me?
On who's tearing them down, on
Yeah.
which order they go?
Which way make a decision how it's gonna be taken down first, the second or third, or whatever?
If the grant that was written for the house on 523,
Yeah, but he put
it was actually.
what houses he wanted.
No, the grant that was written on 523 has not, we have not found out if that has been approved. Unfortunately, in the meantime,
The answer to your question is
Yeah.
Borough Council makes a decision on what the order is based on the recommendation
Yeah.
from the engineer,
Yes.
Well, based on what?
based on a recommendation.
Yeah, the recommendation based on what, or how old is the house? It's been that, have to be.
I
How
can't
old the
tell you
house
what the
standing
criteria.
there, or because you know somebody?
I can't-
Because the house on West it got fire after we have the situation of those houses. And because you own the house, you cut the grass. And you never did this year at least, take a look on the house on 523rd Street. I gave her manager a picture. And also, I got some right here.
Mhm.
You can take a look. 3 feet of grass. And after I came and complained, they sent people to cut the grass. And you have another house, another property with the same problem. And Dave knows the house on, I don't remember the number. He have a problem with the sidewalk. Every time rain, the sidewalks are like a lake. And you don't want to take care of that. The alley of the block, every time it rains, got 2 lakes. Nobody cares. The garbage can, they're there outside on the alley 7 days a week. Nobody's taking them inside. It's a garbage everywhere. Nobody doing any inspection on the block. Nobody cares. Half of the traffic on the mall goes through the East Railroad. And you have the block look like a home booth. And you expecting the people goes by there to come and live in Verona. Every year I see on the list, you're losing the people from Verona. And next year, you probably have another 10 houses demo. You spend money for the flowers, for take care of the basketball court or the tennis court or the great field. You have money for that. Then you go below this street down, hardly there is any sidewalk. Nobody cares. The only thing you get from here up. Can you tell me when was the last time your inspector take a look around here?
We have a new inspector in town and he's been around town. He's been putting doorknobs, hanging knobs on doors for things that need to be done.
Not on my block.
Yes, they have.
Not on my block.
Well,
I asked for his phone, your manager, and she wouldn't give me his phone number.
She
I
can
left-
probably
I
give
left
him
my-
yours.
I left my number, the name, nobody called me.
You actually asked for the engineer. And I did give him. the-
Yeah,
So your complaints have been passed along to the building inspector.
yeah, I want somebody to go around there and give the blue, whatever you guys
Okay,
leave on the door.
thank you.
And take care of all the garbage can from the alley.
Understood.
Mhm.
Years ago, there used to be a sign there, no more than 5-ton truck go by. And somebody took the sign down.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public at this time?
Susie Davis, 537 Ridge Avenue. My concern is the work that's being done on Center Avenue. There is not a flagman out there. Last week on Thursday, I witnessed 5 near accidents because the trucks are swinging. The excavator is swinging its arm out, the boom out. It's just missed. It even just missed my husband when he was coming down the hill and he was going slow, but these guys don't look. Like I said, there was a lot of flagmen out there. Friday, there was 7 near accidents. Yesterday, there was 3. And today they were there And it was horrible. They stopped traffic. And the guy that was out in the middle of the road was like this. What does that mean? Can anybody go up or down the hill? And why aren't they in safety colors? I have to be in the safety color. Everybody that does any work should be in safety or reflective colors. You know, there's going to be an accident there. I do have video of on Friday and I have video of today. And yesterday, the gentleman that stands with his hands on his hips, he was brooming where they had the rocks on First Street. And it was out of retaliation because I know they saw me video them on Friday. He kept sweeping the dust and making sure that it was blowing right at me. Because yesterday was kind of windy. And because when I looked at him, he's smiling from ear to ear and he's on his phone. Got her. So, you know, they're very inconsiderate. But I said, I'm worried about the accident and the children going up and down that hill. I says, you know, if a car accident happens, the cars are going to hit another car and possibly hit my children. And those are my priority, my children. I'll sign this in.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll talk to Mr. Pitch to see what we can do.
We've talked to Mr. Pitch.
What?
We've talked to Mr.
Okay.
Pitch.
What is the company's name?
We've talked to Mr. Pitch.
Matt, you didn't have anything to add on that, did you, from those discussions?
The company's, can you hear me all right?
Yeah,
The company's name is Pampina Landscaping and Construction. I did talk to him after the concern was passed on to me, and he does have 2 workers on site that is watching traffic. They're doing their best to try to keep traffic open. But if it's too much of a concern, our option is closing Center Avenue.
Pampina Landscaping is what he said.
Today, like I said, one guy was out.
We heard, you. We got it, we understand, we got it.
Yesterday, nobody was out.
anybody else? Nobody virtual? Thank you. Comments from the advisory boards, Parks and Rec, Bob Trail,
On December 11th, 2023 at 6:30, members of the Bob Trail Committee will be attending the Parks and Recs meeting. This would be a good time if council has any concerns to come speak with them.
okay,
They gonna be here?
Yeah, they'll be here.
thank you. Reports. We have our minutes from September the 12th. I'd like a motion to accept them.
I'll make a motion.
First by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Flola. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Next up, the mayor.
I'd like to have the chief and Sergeant Francis come up here first. Come on up here this way, it's on camera. This way it's on camera, because I don't want to be up against anybody's back. Up there, over here.
Oh, they want you to
Under the
come sit
flag.
back and back up.
Oh, Lord.
I know your people, I love it when your people.
I don't need to be in this.
You're already in it.
I have a proclamation for Sergeant Franco that I'm gonna read. Proclamation recognizing and honoring Jerry Francos for his outstanding courage and bravery in the line of duty. Whereas Jerry Francos is a police sergeant with the Borough of Verona. And whereas on October 25th, 2023, a fire broke out in a local business while Sergeant Franco was on duty. And whereas Sergeant Francos was aware that residents lived in the apartment above the local business. And whereas with selfless disregard to his own safety, Sergeant Francos immediately took action entering the burning building to search the apartment and safely led 2 residents down the fire escape to safety. And I, David P. Recupero, hereby make this proclamation on behalf of Borough Council and the citizens of the Borough of Verona. recognizing, honoring Sergeant Francos for his service to the community in general and for his selfless and heroic act on October 25th, 2023. The bravery and courage that Sergeant Francos, along with the Verona Fire Department and all of the first responders who took action that evening, should set an example to all men, women, and children in the borough of Verona. So congratulations. And next, I would like to have the fire department come up. Oh, yeah, that's fine, yeah. Ray, if you want to come over and ask chief. Also, like to honor the department, you guys are too tall, man. Dear firefighters, I, Mayor David Recupero, on behalf of Borough Council and the citizens of Verona Borough. Borough of Verona, commend all the volunteer firefighters of Station 285 for their selfless and heroic acts on October 25th, 2023. The dedication and service of the Verona Volunteer Fire Department proves invaluable to our community year after year. We truly appreciate your bravery and courage. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All of you, and to all the other companies, okay. And to all the other companies that were there, including EMS and the company from the Trona Heights too. We did send a letter thanking all those that were involved that night. That's all I do have one other thing.
What, do we know the address?
No, I don't. I can just
The address of what?
the handicap.
Can we do it at workshop? Yeah.
They probably want to know. Yeah.
Church, chief doesn't have it?
No, he doesn't have it. I forgot the paperwork on the handicap on North Avenue. There's a resident requesting a handicap spot. I believe it was on the lower part of North Avenue.
Can we do without the address?
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's been vetted and approved, I don't have a problem with that.
So basically,
Kind of give you some information on it.
Sure.
Basically, moving from, is this one that's moving more red?
Yeah.
Moving down to
Oh,
Main
okay.
Street.
Come on up to the mic, chief, because there's people on TV.
There's people on TV.
Yeah, it references handicap parking. Gentleman on North is moving from North to Penn Street. And he just wants to have a handicap parking on Penn Street. But my suggestion was just to use that sign. Because it's
So you reviewed his application and you're recommending that it be approved.
Yes.
I think we can do that.
yeah, and I apologize. I left it on
That's
my
fine.
kitchen table when I left my dining room table.
Using the same sign is a great idea, because if
Right.
not, it'll
Right.
stay there forever.
Can I have a motion on that, please?
A second.
First by Mr. Long and second by Mr. Floda. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed.
That's all I have. Mr.
Thank you.
President.
Thank you.
Thank
Borough
you.
Manager's report, Ms. Wolford.
1 second, please.
Mhm.
I'm gonna share the screen. Or maybe I'm not, who knows? I'm having a day.
That's why we need new video equipment.
That's why, yeah, that's next on my list.
Bless.
Bless you.
Who is that? Slideshow. Okay, what you have is the first rendition of our budget. And for some odd reason, it doesn't want to be a slideshow. Okay, here we go. Let's see if that works. Okay. You have the first rendition of the 2024 annual budget. The council has seen this budget for about 1 week. It's gone through the finance committee. And, so I will be reviewing the major parts of the budget. And it's not gonna move. Just so you know, There will, at the council workshop meeting, we will review the budget again for any questions or concerns. The hope it, that then we would advertise it, the draft in 2024. And begin the 10-day public display with the adoption on December 12th. What you're gonna see now is an overview of expenditures, revenues, a new fund called a capital fund, and the estimated financial position at the end of this year and next year. The capital fund is currently in the process of being set up. This fund will start with $200,000 from our current general fund. And will go towards street paving, roof replacements, all that good stuff. And this was a fund that was suggested to us by our auditors under the auspice that we had money, extra money in our fund balance to start investing it and start increasing, towards increasing the capital fund investment. This year, next year for 2024, we have $75,000 being used for street paving, which will be added to the ARPA funding of 53.5 for a total street paving of 128.5. This does not include any grants we will receive. So there's more money to be invested. The sewer fund, I hear a lot about the sewer fund, so I want to make sure to go through this. As of November 1st, we owed the sewer fund $475,000. Please understand when we say we owe ourselves to this fund $475,000. As of the 2023 budget, we have currently written off $30,307 in expenses. We have approximately $6,000 of expenses to be written off in November and December, and a $60,000 repayment from the general fund that will be made in December. The approximate amount owed to the fund as of the end of this year will be $409,707.69. Next year, we have budgeted $51,483 worth of expenses to be written off towards this debt. There will be no extra payments. While doing this budget, we looked at the survey that we gave to the residents on their budget priorities. Neighborhood services were number one. Code enforcement, we have hired Joseph Liara and has been contracted to provide services through the borough. He works at approximately 15 hours per week. We received a grant for demolition of 3 homes at 204 West Railroad Avenue, 473 Union Street, and 812 First Street. Again, we also submitted a grant prior to this, and we're still waiting for a response for the home at 523 East Railroad. Street paving, we are working on a large local shares act grant and a GEBTF grant for paving. And currently, we've also budgeted $128,500 towards paving. Next year, we will also be paving center between First and Athletic and Sylvan Street to James Street. We're still working on hiring officers as ever. Your estimated expenditures, now, if you want to like close your eyes and like look at that, you are more than welcome to do that. But these are all your estimated expenditures. These are your estimated revenues. Here's what I can tell you. At the end of December of 2023, after removing $200,000 from our general fund, our fund balance will be $423,558. Our revenues are estimated for 2024 at $2,091,083, and our expenses are $2,072,156, and I'm sorry, I can't read that up there, I'm blinded with facts, so I need to look. Leaving us with an estimated fund balance of $442,485, It leaves us around $19,000 in the black for 2024. The sewer fund has an estimated fund balance of $813 and $813,000 at the end of December, with an estimated revenue of 1.2, an estimated expenditure of 1.1, leaving that fund balance at $896,000. Our liquid fuel is an estimated balance of 114,000, revenue of 76,000, expenditures of 105, leaving us next year with an estimated fund balance of 86,000. The new capital fund will start again with $200,000. Estimated revenue on interest and other items is 2,500. Expenditures is 75,000, leaving us with 127,500. Just so everybody remembers, we did pass a fund balance policy at the beginning of the year, and the policy is that the Borough of Verona will strive to maintain a minimum fund balance in the general fund of not less than 2 months of regular general fund operating expenditures. We are absolutely there and looking good. Questions, comments?
Stephanie, you said the capital fund of $200,000 is coming from the general fund.
Yes. The general fund, we wanted to make sure that the finance committee, wanted to make sure that we had enough in the general fund to more than cover those 2 months. When the auditor said that we really needed to start looking at investing in a capital fund, we basically couldn't have agreed more. As we're looking at street paving and other items, it'll be nice to have one fund. Every year, we can look at our fund balance toward the end of the year. If there's extra money, we can invest it into the capital fund, putting more towards the ability to pave roads, put up roofs, fix whatever needs to be fixed in the borough.
Stephanie, under paving Sylvan Way, you have the James Street. Do you really mean Grant?
Matt,
Maybe he means from James.
Well,
Yeah, it's James the Grant.
that's what I thought.
oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. And now one other comment, you said in the sewer fund, 51,483 expenses written off towards debt.
Yes.
Will that also be a plus from like your time and the DPW's time and all that'll be added?
All that'll be added, Matt's time, my
Yeah,
time.
okay.
That's included in that 51,000.
That's included. If you review.
No, what I'm saying is 51,000, is that what you're estimating for the whole year?
Yes,
Okay,
Yes.
okay, so that's it. There's not gonna be any extra.
we are not looking. As I spoke with the auditors and looked at the priorities of the borough, it was my recommendation that putting $60,000 or any $1,000 from the general fund just into the sewer fund didn't seem like the best use of our money right
Right.
now.
Right,
We know that we have to pay this off. We know how much we owe, but we also know we're not paying off a bank or a creditor.
no interest or no terms.
We are paying ourselves off.
Right,
My goal is to have it paid. My goal and my recommendation would be to have it paid off in the next 8 to 10 years. Don't push it,
well, we're doing pretty good considering where we started.
yeah, one person's mistake
Right.
shouldn't make us go bankrupt every year trying to fix it. when
Agreed.
We're paying ourselves.
Agreed. Very nice presentation. Anybody else have any questions?
Good job, thank you. Very informative.
Next, Stephanie?
Oh, hold on. All right, next up is audiovisual. We all understand, the decisions basically right now that we are gonna hold on to Zoom and we do like some of the audio visual. The system we are currently sitting with is old.
Yeah.
That's putting it nicely.
Yeah,
I mean, ancient would be a really good word. So we sat down and spoke with a company that will do audio visual for us. You were all given a packet
is
of
that
what,
the Jeff Jeffers?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Of what they will offer. Essentially, what we would be looking at is getting rid of that screen. Getting rid of that. Instead, we would have two 72-inch television sets. One with a camera that's like an owl, so it would move with us. The one that would be behind us would actually be a whiteboard, so we would actually be able to point on the screen, write things on the screen if people had questions. The other one would be more stagnant. These would be a lease option, which essentially would be for 5 years, and then kind of like, you could get updated ones as you went. There are 3 options on how we can pay for this. And you will see that, it's a 5-year deal. It includes equipment, service and support, which is awesome, because I'm kind of worried about if it stops working, what we're gonna do, because they're all gonna simulcast, which essentially means everything's gotta work together all at one time. Option 1 would be us taking no money out of the ARPA funds. All money would be budgeted from the general fund, which would be a monthly cost of $332, which works out to about $4,000 a year. The money that then is left over would help pay for some upgrading of some security items in the administrative offices. And for security of residence information, items like that. What's ever left over would then just be added to street paving. Option 2 would be the budget that we have in ARPA. We would pay $10,000 from the ARPA funding, and the rest would be part of the general budget. It works out to be about $106 a month, which is about $1,270 per year. And the last option would be to completely take it out of ARPA, but because it wasn't budgeted at the full amount, that's about approximately $15,000. It would be cutting money out of other options for ARPA roads, whatever. We're using it next year for roads and ADA ramps. So those are the 3 options. So you guys get to make the choice. I can tell you all 3 ways. My recommendation is 1, just because I like the idea of having, a hook, so they make sure they do all their services. And then we go from there. There is room in the budget. It will not affect the bottom line. We will still be in the black at the end of the day.
So you're suggesting
I'm
option 1.
suggesting option 1, but I am not stuck on any option. It's up to you.
Couple of questions for clarification. The bottom line total, option 1 is 19,900, option 2 is 16,300, option 3 is 15,500. So just at first glance, it looks like, well, option 3 is like $4,000 less than option 1. But it's over time, I understand that. But am I to recall that option 3, is there support for the equipment with option 3 as
There's
well?
support. The argument becomes once you pay it off.
Are they gonna come out and
I
do
think I
anything?
am out. I mean, I'm just one of those people but that's just me. I don't trust anybody. So, yeah, there's financing charges as you go along. The other question, the problem with option 3 is you're taking $5,500 away from
Paving.
paving.
Or, well, if you're saying if this all came from ARPA, option 3.
Mhm.
And in the ARPA budget, there is 10,000 allotted for audiovisual, correct?
Mhm.
So what if we took the 5,500 out of, you know, the general fund, since we're plus 19,000, we would still be plus 13,000 if we did it that way, and then it wouldn't affect.
This is not my decision.
I'm just
Yeah, I,
clarifying for
yeah,
everybody.
yeah, you.
I
Yeah.
think the other thing we have to consider is the security upgrades that we need in administration would also have to come from somewhere else too.
That would come from option 1 or option 2.
But no, I mean, if we went with option 3,
If you went with option 3, then security updates in the administration office would be gone.
it's actually
We'd have to pay for.
option 2 also, because we're using that.
What
10,000.
security upgrades are we talking about?
There's some issues in the office with locking and items like that. We keep
Oh.
hundreds of records.
You mean like the file
Well,
cabinet?
we're not voting on what option tonight, correct?
We have to vote, essentially, the question is, if you want to get the audio visual in December, then you do have to pick an option. If you want to wait until next meeting and review it, then we can table it and bring it back in December.
So,
I would myself, I'd like to wait a month
Okay, that's fine.
or until workshop or something so we can,
2 weeks.
You gotta do it, you have to pass a preliminary budget at the workshop meeting. Because you have to put that on public display for 10 days.
will
Once
we
it's on-
still be able to do that?
Once it's on public display, you can make whatever changes you want. And come back and vote on a final budget at your December regular meeting.
We have, workshop will work. Because we won't have to advertise it till the day after. The 10 days, I think,
You have 10 days.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to screw nothing up, but I just need some time to research this.
With option 2, that's a little more than option 3, but really only what, $800 difference between option 2 and option 3? And they're still on the hook, so to speak, right? But you're saying
But-
then that $10,000,
Is gone.
Yeah.
Out of roads.
Yeah.
No, it's already. budgeted.
It's already
Yeah,
budgeted.
it's coming out of our.
Yeah.
Or-
Right.
The $10,000 is coming out of ARPA, no matter what, that's in the budget,
Did any committee sit down with you and go over this?
the finance.
Finance, what's your suggestion?
My suggestion is option 1 or option 2. Actually, I prefer option 1.
Trish?
I'm not on finance.
Okay, well, what's your opinion? Have you thought of it? Or do you
Oh.
need time?
No, I agree with you. I would like to wait to workshop. I did have a couple of quick questions, which is, Stephanie, with the leasing of the equipment, if we wanted to purchase, do they still support that?
After 5, what do you mean if we purchase it right now?
If we purchase it instead of leasing, like the monitors and stuff?
We essentially, if we spend like the 15,000, we would be purchasing everything, including the support and service.
Oh, okay. Also, I was just curious, how did you end up, pursuing this company?
Because I worked with a couple companies, this was one of the only ones that got back to us,
Okay,
which I'll be honest, and they also are a company that works with a company that just did all of our computers and security.
okay, good.
So I felt comfortable. I felt more comfortable with them.
Gotcha. Okay, great.
So your meeting is on, the workshop meeting's on the 28th. You can very easily get that into the newspaper on the 30th, even if it's the 1st. You have enough time to meet the 10-day advertisement rule and bring it back at the regular meeting on December 12th.
I'm leaning towards option 2, but I'd still like to wait. Yeah.
I'm fine with waiting.
That's, we'll just.
As long as it doesn't screw the budget up in the timing.
Not.
That's what I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'd like to table it till
Okay, that's fine.
the workshop. Everybody's okay with that?
Mhm.
You put a lot of work and time into it. I just want to make sure,
We're fine.
you know,
You guys are fine. I'm not.
you have one other thing, Stephanie.
Alum banner community. I need your information, so between Sylvia and I and Trish, because, not Trish, Sylvia and I and Teresa, we can get this done. we have very little time to do it, so I think, if you can get your information to me,
What information?
I thought, oh, I
There's
will,
no,
I'm sorry, I will get an email out to you, I thought that had already been given to you. I'll get it all out to you and I'll need it back next week.
Okay. Thank you.
Next week.
Is that it? So, Steph?
Yeah.
Okay, code enforcement report.
Unfortunately, our code enforcement officer had hand surgery, so he's okay, he's fine. But you do have a code enforcement, report. If this is not enough, please let us know. This is all new to us. We can tell you there were 31 total warnings sent out over, the entire borough of Verona, and 3 notices of violations. So you have 1 on Jones, 1 on North, and 1 on Penn, but the warnings, if you get a blue sign on your door, that is a warning. He tells you how many days you have. If you don't fix that, or call him and work out a plan, then you will get a notice of violation.
Very good, thank you.
I think the report looks good.
And
Yeah, it looks nice.
And East Railroad is included on this, just so everybody knows he has been done.
Okay, next up is police chief's report. Chief McLemore.
Good evening.
Evening, Chief.
Good
This
evening.
is for October. We had 108 complaints, 28 crimes reported, 25 that were cleared. We had 19 arrests or summons. Code summary issued with 2, vehicle code summaries issued with 2. And then borough code summaries were 9, and the borough parking tickets there were 98 parking tickets issued. Our magistrate's fines collected was $150.61. Borough's fines and fees collected is $590. Police reports purchased was $120. And we received $2,900 in amusement device permit fees. Municipal fines was $63.19 for a total of $3,823.80. And then another $90 in parking permit fees. And that's all I have.
Question, the amusement fees, are they starting to come in for 2024?
No, this is still 2023.
Mhm.
We haven't got that far yet.
2020.
We're
don't use-
We're like $1,000 above from last year so far, right? Thank you, Chief.
Chief, unrelated question. I think I probably speak for everyone, that the council really wants to support any efforts we're doing to help recruit new officers. And
Yeah.
we understand from Stephanie, you've sent out a few advertisements. Are there any other places we could send them? And is there anything that we can do to help support this effort?
I don't think there's other places. What we try to do is the academy, so that when the officers graduate from the academy, thank you. They have a list. Unfortunately, V is at the bottom of the list,
Mhm.
so they see all the other departments and how much they're paying.
Right.
The biggest thing is that we've got to try to figure out a way to get officers interested. And the biggest thing these kids are looking for is pay.
Mhm.
That's the thing, pay and benefits,
Mhm.
pensions, those kind of things are the things that the borough needs to make a decision on how we're gonna handle that, because we need to attract them to Verona.
Yeah, we're definitely looking at that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope, I think I mentioned before to you too, we're looking at possibly doing a scholarship perhaps, with the high school, where we could pay for the academy in exchange for so many years of service. Do you think that might be effective?
You mean like paying for their academy?
Right.
The biggest thing about the academy, the academy is very long. It's like 9 months long.
Uh-huh.
So now you're paying for something, you're gonna get an officer 9 months later.
Right.
Versus if we can get the money up or the pay up for officers and get them attracted,
Yeah.
you might be able to attract people that already have been to the academy.
Right.
You're saving that 9 months. Not only is it the 9 months of the academy, then they got another 3 months of street training. So you're talking a year.
Right.
Versus if we can get somebody that's already got an Act 120 because the pay is attracting them, or the benefits, or whatever it takes, is attracting them. You get an officer in 3 months versus a year,
Right, I see.
and you get him on the street. Because if they have their Act 120, they've been working somewhere else.
Right,
I can get them on the street a little faster than somebody straight out of the academy that's never been on the street, because absolutely his field training is gonna be 3 months past the academy.
now this is my own ignorance, but when you say the academy, where exactly, I know there's like a state, there's a county, where have you sent
Well-
the notices?
They go to the Allegheny County
Okay,
Police Academy,
okay,
up
We-
in North Park.
You also sent to Butler and Westmoreland and Butler County?
If I haven't, I will. I'll check. I don't, off the top of my head.
so each county has one.
Academies?
Uh-huh,
Yeah, each county
Okay.
has academies.
okay,
But normally, if we were gonna do it and send somebody, we would send them to North Park, to the Allegheny County.
that makes sense, yeah,
We would send them to Westmore or someplace like that.
sure.
Well, even if they do come from the academy.
Yeah, they can come from any academy. in the
Right,
state.
we need to get them in here,
Yes, sir.
even if we have to train them for a year, we need help there.
Yeah, but I understand that, but I'm just trying to get them on the street faster. And the fastest way would be to be able to attract somebody that's already got their Act 120, some experience. The only way we're gonna be able to do that is be able to be competitive, pay wise and stuff, benefit wise, those kinds of things. And I know budget issues. I've been doing administrative stuff for a long time, so I understand that, but I'm just trying to, we're still working really shorthanded.
Mhm.
uh,
Right,
And we're gonna have to keep working straight-handed if we're gonna wait, short-handed if we're gonna wait a year.
right,
If we can get somebody here now, we're not having to work, these
Right.
long shifts and
right,
those kinds.
understood.
So I'd like to continue with this line of thought. Point taken with what you're explaining. What I'm looking at is in the last, I don't know, I'm guessing, 2 years maybe, in the last 2 years, we haven't been able to attract a full-time officer. And we have been able to hire a couple of part-time officers.
Mhm.
We are working at making the pay for full-time new patrol officers more competitive. We're talking about that.
And
As
I
we
understand
speak.
that, I appreciate that.
Yes, but I'm just thinking, why not do both? Why not try to attract people
That's not a bad
sooner,
idea.
which would be great? But if we could go another year where we aren't able to do that, then in a year, at least we have 1 or 2 absolutely positively people coming here to Verona, because it's been years.
Can I ask a question to Craig on
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Just because I want to know the legalities. So we pay for this, we say we're gonna do this, and they come and then they say, I don't wanna, then
Sure.
what happens?
Well,
That,
Then they owe
that's,
you.
Well, you have to put that in. I put that into, I think you had advocated for that a couple of times to put something in there that they owe it back.
Right.
Mm-hmm,
I know I put it into, one of the, communities I live, work for upriver. You could do whatever you want. That's not there's nothing legal or not legal about it. But if you want to put a provision in your hiring agreements that if they leave after, without working for a couple of years, they owe it back. You're allowed to do that.
that's my biggest.
And
Sure.
you also have to understand, they have to graduate.
right,
Right.
And they can be there 4 or 5 months and get cut from the academy.
sure.
Very seldom happens, but
Yeah.
that's the possibility.
Wow, yeah, we'd have to work that into the agreement somehow.
Mhm.
And the problem with that is not if they get cut, but if 4 or 5 months into it, they realize this isn't for me.
Right,
But if they're gonna owe that money,
right,
they might stick it out.
Right.
So they're still at the academy, even though they know they're not.
There are things to think about, yeah.
good points, good points.
I'm glad you brought that up. Thanks.
Oh, no, thank you guys for all the time you're working. It's a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, chief. Fire chief's report, Dan T.
Hello.
Fire company answered a total of 12 calls for the month of October. 10th one and extrication rescue at 673rd Street in Verona. 10-1 water rescue, 750 2nd Street in Oakmont. 10-5 natural gas leak at 200 Allegheny River Boulevard in Verona. 10-9 natural gas leak at 330 Arch Street in Verona. 10-17 commercial fire alarm, 500 West Railroad Avenue in Verona. Ended up being a water leak that malfunctioned the alarm system. 10-19 carbon monoxide alarm, 408 Selden Avenue in Verona, false alarm. 10-23 mischievous false call, 1 Moore Drive, apartment 703 in Verona, repeat nuisance caller. 10-24 commercial fire alarm, 5741 3rd Street in Penn Hills, false alarm. 10-25 carbon monoxide investigation, 420 School Street, apartment 2 in Verona. 10-25 commercial structure fire, 318 to 322 Center Avenue in Verona. 10-26 smoke report false call at 100 Halton Road in Oakmont. It was from the Riverview bonfire. 10-31 commercial fire alarm, 74 Allegheny River Boulevard in Verona, false alarm.
1023 is that reoccurring nuisance situation. And we had a follow-up item. We were waiting to do something about that.
We have an ordinance on,
We have an ordinance.
right.
And we were going to do something.
The problem is, the reason that the ordinance,
You cite the more time.
you would have to cite D-More Towers, they are working on it. As Dan and I can tell you,
They have a new building there.
and they're working on it, they really are, but they can't take away the person's spot.
I
Right.
think the bigger problem.
Well, then we need to
is
start
gardens.
charging them every fire call, they get charged.
And I'm fine with that as long as we charge the resident and not the towers.
Well, you gotta watch how the ordinance is wrote, because I think it's wrote 3 times in a month.
Yeah.
I
That's what
think,
believe
I
it's
think.
Because
So-
it's the residents that is doing it,
Right.
it's not the manager
Right.
himself, and he really is trying to fix the situation, we've had major conversations.
So we aren't getting, fortunately, we aren't getting, I don't think we've gotten 3 in a month from that guy,
1
that
month we
person.
did. Right?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I think the ordinance, I think it's.
3 times in a month or 3 times in a year?
I
No,
think
in a
it's
month.
I think it's an
Originally, it was
that.
because of the gardens. They were.
I thought it was
A lot of it.
3 times in a year.
I remember the only
like we've even
provision
had it
in
in a
there was if it was multiple times in one day, it would only count as one.
Well, that's true,
Uh,
yeah.
I believe it was on an annual basis.
Yeah, you know, I thought it was a month.
Dan, can you real quickly, tell the board and the public how many departments were on Center Avenue Fire?
There was. There were 6 fire departments and 1 fire department as a rehab unit, along with Lower Valley Ambulance and AHN medic response unit.
And, you know, we appreciate the quick response from everybody because that could have turned into a big disaster. Every building in Verona is old, at least probably 75 to 100 years. We could have lost 3 in a row, not only the 3-story one, but the one next to it and the one in the corner and possibly, you know, if it got really out of hand. So you all did a fine job and thank you for your service.
I saw people sitting in there working tonight in the building. You know, one building up towards the red light. I couldn't believe it. Looked like no damage at all to that building. Phenomenal.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
EMS report, Laura Valley.
Still on the fence.
We won't arrest you.
We did receive your letter from the borough for that with regards to the fire response. In the month of October, we had 31 EMS responses into Verona. 4 of them were treated and transported advanced life support. 6 were treated and transported basic life support. 6 were transported, but there was no specification between the basic life support or advanced life support. One fortunately was a EOA. 4 were canceled, 3 were patient refusals. 2 were no patient found. 3 were fire standbys, 1 was a lift assist, and one was a false activation.
Very good. Anybody have any questions?
No,
No,
Again, thank you for your service and thanks for the
thank you.
help with the fires.
yes, thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Real quick, can I say something to the fire chief?
Sure.
Santa Claus on the fire truck again? Yes. Maybe the 23rd, I'll get with you. Saturday?
We'll be in Florida.
He's usually pretty busy around that.
No, I make special arrangements with them.
Okay, solicitors report, Mr. Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. President. I did submit a written solicitor's report. I have no addition to add at this time.
Looks good.
Thank you.
Anybody have anything for Mr. Alexander?
I actually had a question, Mr. Alexander, on your thing about the tax assessment appeal.
Yes.
Is there a reason we haven't decided to
Thank you.
be a part of this one?
I don't think it says that.
I missed that one. I apologize. I missed a word. You left the line. I missed a word. Sorry, I apologize.
It's the first she's ever admitted she's wrong.
Hey,
I'm marking it down right now.
so is Wade, by the way.
Any questions for the solicitor?
No,
Thank you. Engineers report, Mr. Pitch.
Good evening. Sorry I couldn't attend in person. I'm fighting a pretty nasty chest cold. I submitted my written report, just a few items. We have some resolutions on the agenda tonight. 2 of them are for the CDBG 50 applications. The one is for ADA ramps along Grant Street. That one's requesting 35,000 and the grant will be fully funded. The other is for sanitary sewer lining along Spruce, Parker, 2nd Street and Center Avenue. The grant request for that is $86,934, which is a 65% grant. So our match would be 46,810 for that one. The other resolution that we're submitting or approving is for the LSA grant. Stephanie and I worked with that and was in contact with DCD. So the GEDTF grant that we just recently put in for additional street reconstruction, we are submitting the same grant for the LSA statewide. And if we are successful with both of them, we have confirmation that we are permitted to change the street locations. So we're kind of doubling down on that project, and then best case scenario, we're able to move it to other streets if we are successful with both grants.
That's the LSA.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, right now the DCD is pretty swamped on grant applications. So talking with them, they're not anticipating awarding that one until next September. Where the GEDTF, we should find out in the April-May timeframe.
Matt, quick question. Would you estimate that the matches for some of these the CDBG 50 and the GEDTF wouldn't be due until 2025?
So CDBGs, definitely. Their timeframes right now, we're getting ready to bid the year 49 projects. So typically we find out in the July, August timeframe. By the time all the contracts are signed and it's ready for bid, it's November, December. So the CD50 match amount would be a 2025 expense. All depends on the GEDTF when they announce it. That could possibly be a 2024 expense, but Stephanie and I worked pretty closely and we used some of our budgeted paving amount for leverage on the match amount for those paving grants to make it look more favorable for the borough.
Okay, great. Thank you for clarifying.
CDBG 50 is not our year, so there's a chance we won't see
Oh,
either one of those,
okay.
right? So-
Correct. It's not our year where we're guaranteed funds, but we still put a ADA project in because if someone else's project doesn't qualify, there's a chance that we could possibly be given that money.
Okay, great. Thanks for clarifying.
And then just two quick things I just wanted to mention. The one gentleman brought up about the demolitions. Those, we have a list of properties that are eligible for demolition. Sometimes that eligibility changes based off of someone paying taxes or legal clearances, which sometimes can be difficult. The solicitor has to track down current or past owners. Sometimes that's not as easy for some structures. So that all has to be completed before we apply. So some structures get on to certain applications before others. It's not a matter of picking and choosing. It's just a matter of eligibility. With that 523, it had been submitted for a grant application. It was still pending when the other application for the current ones was put in. And then unfortunately, the first application for 523 was unsuccessful, but it was resubmitted for the CDBG 50s and for the Act 152. So hopefully will be considered favorable for those. And then the other thing that came up tonight with the work on Center Avenue, the concern was passed along to me. I did talk to the contractor. One thing that he mentioned is that it would be a lot easier if just the downhill lane could be closed during working hours. Not blaming it on motorists, but while I was on site, I witnessed several vehicles cruising up and down the hill rather fast. So I mean, he did have the worker on site that was helping him when he had to swing that direction. Unfortunately, he can't always swing the other direction with the power lines in the poles located there. So one thing that I just wanted to bring up for consideration was possibly permitting him during working hours, which would be somewhere between 8 and 4, to close the downhill lane of Center. That would be effective between Athletic and First, which would essentially cause people to either go across Athletic and then down south, or for people who are aware of it, they could possibly take Second to Parker or North.
Hey, Matt, to alleviate any confusion, would it be just as simple to shut them down at First and Athletic? Just shut it all down. Let them put a cone horses across it.
What about people who live?
Well, the only problem that I have with shutting the road down, I don't have a problem, but the biggest problem, I guess I do have a problem, is the school. But we're gonna force traffic coming down South Avenue at 8 o'clock in the morning. And if, that's, from what Ray says, to shut everything down. Even if we shut it down the one lane, they're gonna be detoured and come down south, and school gets out at 5 after 3 or 20 after, whatever.
They can't get down south.
Well, they'll have to come across First Street.
Yeah, but south shuts down
South shuts down between Bruno between Heron and First.
Right.
and Heron and First.
Yeah.
We're talking
Okay.
about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's the only concern I would have, is the school being there. I don't have a problem shutting to shut the road down, but that would be my only concern. There'll be more traffic when the kids get out of school.
Could we do 9 to 2:30? Like shut it down from 9 to 2:30?
What time does the school start?
Elementary is
8:30.
8:20, starts at 8:30.
The problem with that is, the shorter we make that time, the longer this project's gonna take, and it's
Right.
already been pushed back because of people's gas. And I don't wanna, I'm afraid if we're gonna keep pushing it back, Matt,
Snowing.
what,
I think it's gonna be confusing for people. Oh, we're gonna shut it one way, but they're gonna go around the horses anyway. So I just say let it go and let the guys do their flagging.
Yeah,
Well,
As long
that's
as
the
they have-
thing, is there no flagman there that we could shut down the one lane and have
We did-
alternating lane with
We-
flagman?
The thought that there was always the thought process was either to shut it down or to not have flaggers. There are no flaggers hired for this project. DPW cannot flag. They cannot flag. They're not a big enough company. And the problem is, this project, tell me if I'm wrong, Matt, would take less time if we just shut it down for a couple of days.
Well, like I said, my biggest concern on this is the school, the kids.
I think the other thing we have to realize is there's still 2 lanes of traffic there.
Right.
I mean, we actually took the parking on one side, not a lane of traffic.
Right.
So there's.
Correct, and the issue is just in the areas where the
People
poles
are
or he
taking
doesn't have the clearance under the wires, he has to swing his boom into the traffic lane. The other option we can look at is posting the uphill side, no parking, and that allows the traffic to be shifted over. And then it only really interferes with parking and not traffic flow.
That's a great idea.
Why don't we do that?
Because,
Yeah, because the high school bus comes down Center Avenue from Second Street. In the morning and in the afternoon, it comes down the hill.
In
So
the,
if you shut down, then you're detouring the bus somewhere else.
the problem with shutting down that other side of center, we're already having issues with parking and complaints.
A lot of that side of the street has driveways.
We can try that. I'm just concerned. I feel like,
I think we should just leave it the way it is and let the guy, when he's gonna be swinging his machine, just have his guys out there
somebody
watching.
needs to be there.
I mean, I have been out there 3 times. Matt's been out there a couple of times. We have watched doing the best they can in the situations they have. And unfortunately,
Either that or put the extra police car out there with the lights on. People think the police are there, sitting there.
Yesterday, I actually had to detour traffic around because they had the road blocked. And I didn't
Well,
think that was
it's an
part of the problem.
inconvenience for everybody. I understand that.
But was that them? Because when I came up the one time, the road was blocked, but that was actually the contractor, the house on the other side.
Yeah. with
It
the
wasn't
roof.
them. Yeah,
Yeah, with the roof.
yeah, it wasn't.
So yeah, that's another issue. You had that roofer guy there
Right.
with the dump
He's
truck.
had traffic temporarily blocked at times when he's gotten stone deliveries or something like that, but he's fully aware of not keeping it blocked for more than 10 minutes. Unfortunately, when you get a triaxle of stone, sometimes the delivery takes a couple minutes.
Right.
I'll follow up with him tomorrow, let him know that we discussed it and that the closure isn't gonna work the best. I'll ask him if he feels that the no parking on the other side would be beneficial. And then I can always follow up with the chief. It would only be no parking during working hours and people could still park there in the evening. And we'll see if that might be an option moving forward.
That sounds good.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Not a problem.
Anybody else, anything else from
You
Matt?
feel better, Matt?
hey, Matt,
Yes.
the HOP,
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I did see in the meeting packet that there is an HOP. I talked to Stephanie about that just to see what it was for, and my understanding is that it's for the VOP trail. I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention. It's a common practice and the standard practice with the state that all HOPs along their highways are in the municipality's name. That's mostly for liability purposes. In the past, they've gotten in issues where companies have gone out of business or whatnot. So the state's view is always that the municipality is there to kind of be the scapegoat, for lack of a better term. So I just wanted to make everyone aware that when entering this, not that the trail is going to have any bridges or anything like that that has to be maintained, but keep in mind that if when the trail goes in, if there's any delineators or anything like that to where there's failure to maintain them, because the HOP's in the borough's name, that responsibility falls back on the borough for that maintenance.
And that would be a cost to the borough then.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, I know Craig and I have worked on other HOPs for private sanitary lines or whatnot. And what other municipalities have done is they make like a maintenance agreement between the individual and the borough to maintain those things. I don't know if that's something that we would want to entertain with the VOP committee or not. I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that there is some liability with passing the HOP.
Thanks, Matt. Finance, Dr. Carpenter.
Thank you. For the month of October, our income was a little over 54,000. Our expenditures was about 114,500, leaving us with a deficit for the month of October of a little over $60,000. And our total income for the year thus far is approximately $347,000. Major revenue that we took in this month was from Oakmont Water Authority. A little over $80,000. That's for the sewer rental fees. And major expenditures on the bills list is 128,000 approximately for the Second Street reconstruction, and that came from the ARPA funds. The 64,000 approximately that was put into the police pension mostly was from the state aid, right, Stephanie?
Completely from the state aid.
Okay, so that really wasn't something that we spent ourselves. And we paid about $6,100 in rock salt.
That all comes from the money we received from the state, the rock salt.
Is this the salt we didn't take last year?
Yeah,
Okay.
we got salt from last year, this year,
Okay.
We're working on that right now.
That's good, it's supposed to be bad, man.
Yes, and yes.
Okay, well, thank you for that. You guys have the rest of the reports in front of you, including the list of bills. And unless there's any major questions or issues, I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter,
Second.
second by Mr. Craig. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
A couple other things. I just wanted to highlight for people about the bus line redesign project that's happening. I don't know that much about it, but somehow I got an email. I think I sometimes get these emails from before, back in early 20s, but it's an interesting thing. It's on our Facebook page, it's on our website. You can take a survey about, your preferences or whatever for bus routes. And they had a meeting, a public meeting via Zoom today at 5:30. That link is also on the Facebook page and the website. And there's going to be another one of these public meetings on, shoot, I lost it now.
It's not on Thursday.
On Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Thursday at 11:30 a.m. there will be another one of these public meetings where people can actually interact with the people who are doing this project. So I wanted to bring that up and draw people's attention to it. Please take a look at that and take the survey. And it's for anybody that lives in Allegheny County. You don't have to necessarily live in Verona. It's for everybody. The other thing I just want to say is happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Because by the time we meet again, Thanksgiving will have come and gone. So hope you have a happy holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Recreation Community, Mr. Craig.
Yes, just two things. The last meeting, we talked about the little lending library and the placement up at Cribs. This would be the memorial for Mr. Ewing. And there was questions about where to do it, so we kind of said we'll meet with the garden club with actual dimensions and a tape measure, so we can move around up there and actually figure out where it'll fit best and to come up with a location for it.
We are actually housing those as of right now.
Very good, thank you.
And then the other thing is, we discussed new roll signs for our parks. We're trying to take some of the nose out and eliminate some stuff that's duplicative and that kind of stuff.
Very good. Thank you.
Question read, any more update on the Friends of the Riverfront signs, the wayfinding signs or whatever they
They're
were?
not coming until spring.
Right.
Okay,
Because we talked about it with them and said, there's no sense putting signs up
mhm,
for the winter and have
Yeah.
them weathered.
Yeah.
When no one's gonna use them, so,
Yeah. good, thank you.
and they had to check and make sure that the grant for them.
Mhm.
wanted that, and it
But
does, so.
the signs are sitting somewhere waiting to be installed.
They actually have not been delivered yet, but when they are delivered, they will go into DPW and they will post them. As soon as we feel the weather is good enough to put them up and they have time.
Great, thank you.
Is that it, Red?
That's it. for me.
Thank you. Public safety, Mrs. Provenza?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. The rates for the parking fees have been established and they will be posted so people can check the rates and see them.
It'll be a new ordinance.
And it will be, thank you. It will also be a new ordinance.
And we have that down under,
Yeah, we're gonna vote to
Yes.
Under-
advertise.
tonight.
yeah.
My hope is to advertise that. IMTC and the budget all in one time. So I'd all wait until December.
Yeah,
like
there's no sense
November,
on
no sense in
two
running
ads.
Good, good.
Is that it, Mrs. Provenza?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you want to share about the sign, Sylvia?
I'm doing that.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Communications, Mr. Floda.
I was informed tonight that Sylvia has an update on, sign for railroad work. We'll pass it over to Sylvia.
You want me to do my report or you want to know?
Let me do it now. Do you want me to pass everything out to people? You know, stuff for them?
Well, I'm gonna do this one.
I think
Okay.
the big thing we need to remember is that none of this can happen until the park money is done and all of this information will then have to go to the contractor of the park. And they'll have to put it in. So it can't go in yet.
No, we're just showing you.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure everybody understands that there'll be a little bit of a time lapse.
I met with Mr. Hill from Smart Signs, and he has given me 4 different proposals here, possibly 5, and I'd like to just share them with all of council. And he is wonderful to work with. I have negotiated prices with him, and he has come down a good bit of money. And with the LSA grant now, I think there's been a block of money approved for this, because we have no sign here and people are asking for a sign.
And it's a GETB. A different grant, not the.
GET,
LSA.
yeah.
I just want to make sure everybody knows that.
I think
No, it's not.
Thank you, that's what,
No, LSA is the road paving.
right.
Matt.
So we're talking about an electronic sign. You have all kind of information there.
I do, I have.
Is there any way we could copy that and give it to people?
Cause Matt just asked me for a copy of it.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And then,
Just do this with
Well, I
Stephanie and
was
she
gonna-
can make
I was
copies.
gonna show it to everybody, and then I was gonna give you a special set for yourself.
Perfect.
I would be easier for me to email it. I think so. I can look at it.
Yeah, but I would like to have a printed copy, please.
So she's gonna make copies of
Well,
it.
how many hard copies do we need? I'll take care of it. How many do we need? Does everybody want a hard copy?
No, I mean,
No.
Stephanie emails it to me, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, email's good.
email is fine.
Okay. Okay. All right, I will leave this with you, Stephanie.
I'll make sure you get it back.
No, that's okay. You can keep it for file and share it until we get the hard copies, the ones that you did.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have nothing else.
Nothing else? Infrastructure and asset, Trish Redzak Showalter.
Thank you, Mr. President. We met last month. We actually have a meeting tomorrow. We were gonna wait till workshop though to discuss some additional sign updates with regards to color and other things. So look forward to that during workshop. I just want to let everyone know as well, a little informational thing that on Saturday, coinciding with the beginning of the Jolly Jamboree, our Verona Community Garden at 246 West Railroad is graduating from Grow Pittsburgh's Community Garden program. So we would love, if anyone has a few minutes to stop down and mark the occasion with us ahead of the Jolly Jamboree celebrations, we would appreciate that
That's at noon.
at noon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope.
Very good. Community Development Committee, Mr. Long? Nothing at this time? Special committees, Long?
Yes, sir. Everybody received a flyer here on the newly elected officials board, so I don't have to worry that everybody got this. Also, a reminder, if you could all get your information into either Stephanie or me, so we can get this all put together for the ALOM for Banner Community.
I will have Trish send that. Teresa sent out an email tomorrow.
Reminder. Right.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say one other thing about ALOM. I went to a meeting this morning, a breakfast, that they had a talk about transformational leadership. And it had to do with diversity, equity, and inclusion. And there was a very wonderful gentleman there named Dr. Vernon Franklin. And he had these books that he gave for free. And then they did a whole presentation from Campbell and somebody or other law firm that I don't have off the top of my head. And they were both very, very nice, Allison and Gabrielle. And I'll talk to you guys more about this, present some information in an email. And down the line, maybe some potential presentation from these people. The other thing was I happened to sit down at a table next to a gentleman who does presentations on, what's the word I'm looking for? Regionalization of police, fire, whatever. And, you know, even though it's not the most desirable thing to do, it's something that's gonna come up. And these people that give the presentations at the conference in the spring are also available to give presentations to specific boroughs and municipalities. So down the line, we, you know, could talk about if we want them to come in and talk about their experience and how it might help us. So that was an interesting morning. It just went from 9 to 11.
Very good. Thank you.
Nancy, excuse me, Ray, one question. Name of that book again? I didn't hear it.
Blueprint for Diversity, Laying the Foundation for Success.
Okay, thank you.
You wanna pass it?
Okay,
That's it.
that's it.
Yep.
Old business,
Done.
nothing. We're gonna go into new business. I'm gonna need a motion to approve the advertising of the parking fee ordinance.
I'll second it.
First, Mrs. Provenza, second, Mr. Floto. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. I'm gonna need a motion to approve the advertising of the IMPC ordinance.
This changes us from 2015 to 2018.
It's the building codes.
Building codes. for our code enforcement
It's
officer.
the one that they, like Joe uses.
Yes.
Yes.
Second.
Mr. Long, second, Ms. Redzak, Showalter. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. I'm gonna need a motion to approve the advertising of the 2024 budget starting November 29th of 2023.
I'll make that motion.
First by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Floda. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed. I'm gonna need a motion to approve the trans systems to apply for the highway occupancy permit.
I'll make that motion.
First by Ms. Redzak Showalter,
Second.
second by Mr. Long. Any questions? All in favor?
That was red, actually.
That was Mr. Craig. All opposed? Passed. Motion to approve resolution for LSA grant for Verona Borough Street paving. Mrs. Provenza,
Second.
second, Mr. Floto. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed. Motion to approve concurring resolution for CDBG 50 grant for ADA ramps.
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Redsdeck Showalter, second, Dr. Carpenter. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed.
Dude.
Slow down.
Okay, we're good.
Motion to approve concurring resolution for CDBG 50 grant request for sanitary sewer lining.
Make that motion.
Ms. Redsdeck Showalter, second by Mr. Long, or Mr. Craig?
No,
Mr. Long,
Wow.
any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
The next one gets tabled.
This is yeah, we're gonna table this. The next one is a motion to approve moving $200,000 from the general fund to the capital fund. First, Mr. Long, second, Mr. Craig. Any questions?
It's the motion to table.
What?
It's a motion to table.
No, this is a motion to
Okay, so
approve the
H was tabled.
H was tabled, yes.
I'll make the motion to table.
Wait a second, we have a motion on,
The other one now.
All right.
we're on the other one now. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. I need a motion to table the purchase of the audiovisual
I'll
equipment.
make that motion.
First by Mrs. Provenza and second by Dr. Carpenter. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed. And I also want to mention that we had a exec session prior to this meeting dealing with personnel. Thank you. Next up, announcements, newsletter. Mrs. Provenza?
Thank you. Good evening. Newsletter, the holiday issue of the newsletter is at the printers as we speak. And the next newsletter is going to be your spring newsletter, which will be due on February 1, 2024. It sounds far away, but it comes quicker than you think. So think about what you'd like to have in there. To place your articles, you can contact Donald Ward, 412-828-3607, or his email at veronanewsroom@gmail.com. I can be reached for ads at 412-828-7726. And it's been a good year. I want to thank everyone for the wonderful articles and for the ads, which pay the bills. So thank you so much. Chamber of Commerce, next meeting will be Tuesday, November 21, at 7 p.m. here in the Borough Building. And plans are in the works now for the Chamber Christmas party. Also, don't forget about Jolly Jamboree, which will be this weekend. And don't forget to vote for the children here of our school. They are decorating ornaments, and we need to do some voting on that. There's going to be some beautiful, beautiful ornaments. Winboro Ministries, the next community dinner is going to be held Wednesday, November 29th, from 4:30 to 6:30 here at the Methodist Church. And it will be hosted by the Verona Chamber of Commerce. And Church Hall is still open for indoor dining. Historical Society, next meeting is going to be held on Thursday, November the 16th, in the Borough Building at 7 p.m. The speaker is going to be Lawrence Woods, and he's from the Heinz History Center. And his presentation is entitled The Vietnam War and the Pennsylvanians Who Served. And this is a wonderful meeting to come to. All are welcome, and do invite a friend. Under A-Law, we just talked about it, and I just want to remind everybody, we have a date we have to meet. We have to have everything in by November the 30th. So please, I'm asking everybody, Bethany and I need the information. Anything else? Don't see anything else, so to all of you, a blessed and happy Thanksgiving. And if there's any questions or comments, If not, this concludes my reports, and I thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
A couple other announcements. There's a Jolly Jamboree Saturday, November 18th at the Railroad Park. The event begins at noon. Hometown Holiday Parade from Verona to Oakmont's 5 p.m. And a trolley to run from Oakmont and Verona. And I'm sure that there's different stops for that. So. Comments from the public. At this time, the council will hear comments on public related items. Please approach a podium, raise your virtual hand, clearly state your name and address, and limit your comment to 3 minutes. None? At this time, I'll take the motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Long, second by Mr. Flota. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Pass. I want to thank everybody for coming to the meeting tonight. I want to thank everybody for their input and all the committees for the hard work they did to try to get all this stuff together. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, what is this?
See you guys.
Bye.
Be safe, man. Hey, hey.
I lost